Have you ever noticed how frequently people share their deepest dreams and aspirations, only to see them fall apart unexpectedly? It's almost as if the moment you speak your intentions aloud, the universe conspires against them. This feeling is familiar to many of us, the thrill of hope and excitement when we reveal our plans, only to watch as things begin to unravel. At times it feels like we've exposed our dreams to external forces that seem determined to disrupt our journey and derail our efforts. But what if I told you that there is a profound spiritual principle behind this experience, one that calls for silence and careful stewardship of our intentions? From a Christian perspective, silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a sacred space for divine protection. In the act of silence, there is a deeper, spiritual wisdom that we must cultivate. It is not a silence born of fear or avoidance, but one of intentional stillness, rooted in trust and faith in God's perfect timing. The Bible offers us many passages that highlight the importance of guarding our words and protecting our hearts during times of vulnerability. Proverbs 21, verse 23 reminds us, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." This verse encourages believers to protect their words, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. When we share our deepest hopes and dreams with others too soon, we risk exposing them to criticism, doubt, and envy, energies that can harm their fragile growth. The sacred silence that we are called to maintain allows these dreams to remain untouched by the world's skepticism and interference. In a world that thrives on instant communication and social validation, it is easy to fall into the trap of revealing too much too soon. The modern age, with its social media platforms and constant connectivity, often pushes us to share every step of our journey, to seek approval and recognition before our goals have fully taken shape. But for those who walk in faith, this rush to reveal can sometimes be the very thing that disrupts the delicate process of growth. It's not about keeping secrets, it's about protecting what is sacred. Our dreams are not just personal aspirations, they are God-given visions that require time, care, and patience to unfold. Consider the image of a seed. In the natural world, seeds do not instantly transform into plants. They require time to take root in the soil, to be nourished by the elements, and to grow into what they are meant to be. Similarly, our plans and dreams are like seeds. When we share them too early, before they have the chance to be cultivated in the quiet space of our hearts, we expose them to the harsh winds of doubt and the scorching sun of premature judgment. But when we allow these dreams to grow in silence, nurtured by prayer, reflection, and trust in God's plan, they can take root and begin to flourish, unseen and undisturbed by the world's distractions. This sacred silence becomes the fertile soil in which our dreams are allowed to grow strong. Isaiah 30 verse 15 offers a powerful reminder of the strength we find in silence and trust. "In quietness and in trust shall be your strength." These words speak to the inner peace that comes when we trust in God's plan for our lives, even when things are not progressing according to our own timeline. It is in the stillness, in the act of waiting and trusting, that we find the strength to persevere, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. Silence, in this sense, is not passive, it is an active choice to align our hearts and minds with God's will, allowing His divine wisdom to guide our actions. The story of Nehemiah in the Bible offers a beautiful example of the power of quiet preparation and trust in God's timing. When Nehemiah received the call to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he did not rush to share his plans with others. Instead, he spent time in prayer, seeking God's guidance. He kept his plans private, guarding them in the sacred silence of his heart, until the moment was right. It was only after he had prepared in silence that he began to act. His quiet dedication and trust in God's direction enabled him to carry out his mission without being swayed by the doubts or criticisms of others. Nehemiah's story teaches us that sometimes the most profound and lasting accomplishments are made in quiet preparation, away from the prying eyes and judgments of the world. When we trust in God's timing and protect our dreams with silence, we position ourselves to receive His guidance and strength. In the New Testament, Jesus also exemplifies the power of silence and retreat. In Mark 1 verse 35 it says, "And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed." Even Jesus, in his ministry, took moments of solitude to pray, to align himself with God's will, and to prepare for what lay ahead. His actions serve as a reminder that before we step out into the world with our plans and ambitions, we must first retreat into quietness, seeking God's direction. This time of silence is not about avoiding the world, but about ensuring that our actions are in alignment with God's will. It's easy to become distracted by the noise of the world, the demands, the opinions, the constant flow of information. But silence offers us the space to tune into God's voice, to hear His guidance and to receive His peace. In this space we are reminded that our dreams are not ours alone, they are part of a larger, divine plan that is unfolding according to God's perfect timing. As we wait in silence, we learn to trust in His sovereignty, knowing that everything will come to fruition when the time is right. The Apostle Paul also speaks to this concept of waiting on God in Romans 8 verse 25, "But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience." Patience is a virtue that requires faith. Waiting on God's timing is not always easy, but it is a crucial part of the process. In moments of silence, we practice patience. We trust that God is at work, even when we cannot see the outcome. This is the faith that sustains us when the world around us seems uncertain, or when our plans appear to be delayed. By waiting in silence and trusting in God's plan, we learn to rely not on our own understanding, but on His wisdom and timing. In practical terms, silence doesn't just mean keeping your plans to yourself, it also means creating a space for prayer and reflection. It means spending time away from the noise of everyday life to listen for God's voice. It means letting go of the need to control every outcome and trusting that God's plan is unfolding in ways that we may not fully understand. As we engage in this sacred silence, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of peace and purpose, knowing that our dreams are in God's hands. Ultimately, silence is an act of surrender. It is the acknowledgement that we are not in control, but that God is. In moments of quiet, we give our dreams back to Him, trusting that He will bring them to fruition in His time. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still, and know that I am God." In stillness, we recognize God's presence and His sovereignty. In stillness, we find the peace that comes from knowing that God is in control, and that our dreams will unfold according to His perfect plan. In conclusion, silence is not a void, it is a powerful, sacred space where our dreams are protected and nurtured. By guarding our intentions and waiting in silence, we align ourselves with God's will and trust in His timing. In that silence we find strength, clarity, and peace. Just as Nehemiah rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem in quiet preparation, and Jesus retreated to pray before His ministry, we too can find the courage to move forward with our plans when the time is right. Silence is not passive, it is the active choice to trust in God's perfect timing, to protect our dreams, and to wait for the moment when they will bloom in His hands. The sacred silence, a spiritual reflection on divine timing and trust in God's plan. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, where everyone is encouraged to voice their opinions, chase success, and seek external validation, there is a profound spiritual discipline that many often overlook: silence. For those of us who walk by faith, this silence is not an empty void, but a sacred space where we can nurture our dreams, align ourselves with God's plan, and wait for divine timing. In reflecting upon our intentions and dreams, it is worth considering: what aspirations do you carry within you that need the sacred silence to grow and flourish? Which parts of your life require more prayerful reflection, a deeper trust in God's timing, and the protection of your inner sanctum before they are shared with others? The Bible offers rich insight into the importance of quiet reflection and trust in the Lord's plan. In Matthew 6 verse 6, Jesus instructs, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." This verse speaks directly to the heart of silence as a means of aligning our will with God's. In this sacred space of stillness, we allow our intentions to grow in the safety of divine protection before we expose them to the world. Like a tender plant that requires careful cultivation in a protected environment, our dreams need time to root, to deepen, and to strengthen in the quietude of God's presence. By choosing to remain silent and private about certain dreams, we are not withdrawing from the world in fear, but rather engaging in a spiritual act of faith. We are recognizing that not everyone around us is prepared to understand our vision or to offer the support we need. Proverbs 27 verse 2 reminds us, "Let another praise you, and not your own mouth a stranger, and not your own lips. There is wisdom in letting our actions and successes speak for themselves." When we rush to proclaim our aspirations, we risk inviting opinions, judgments, and distractions that can hinder the sacred growth of our dreams. Just as a seed needs the cover of soil to develop into a strong tree, our intentions, too, need the shelter of silence to grow unhindered by external forces. Consider, for a moment, the growth of a tree. The mighty oak starts as a tiny acorn buried beneath the soil. It is only in the darkness of the earth that its roots begin to form, anchoring it firmly to the ground. As it pushes upward toward the light, the tree continues to grow in secret, out of sight, away from the harsh winds and prying eyes. It is only once it is strong enough to stand tall that it is visible to the world. So too, our dreams in their infancy need this quiet period of incubation. This period is essential, not for hiding from the world, but for creating the conditions in which our aspirations can take root deeply in God's purpose for us. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us to, "Be still, and know that I am God." In these words, we find not only the invitation to silence, but the promise that in stillness we can come into closer communion with our Creator. Silence is not just about withdrawal, it is about active listening and surrendering to God's perfect timing. It is an act of trust, of resting in the knowledge that God is at work, even when we do not see the fruits of our labor immediately. When we embrace the quiet, we are not abandoning our plans or dreams, rather, we are giving them the time they need to be shaped and aligned with God's will for us. The discipline of silence allows us to remain connected to our divine purpose, free from the distractions and opinions of others. In a world that glorifies constant activity and outward achievement, silence becomes a place of sanctuary. It is in these moments of stillness that we can hear God's whispers, the gentle nudges that guide us along the right path. Silence creates space for prayer, for reflection, and for the inner clarity we need to navigate life's challenges. In contrast, when we rush to share our plans and ideas with the world, we risk exposing ourselves to doubts and skepticism. The weight of other people's expectations can feel heavy and disorienting, especially if their vision is not aligned with God's purpose for us. Proverbs 4 verse 23 advises, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." When we share our dreams prematurely, we open ourselves to the influence of those who may not understand our journey or the divine purpose behind it. Silence acts as a protective shield around our hearts and intentions, safeguarding them from negativity and doubt. It is a spiritual act of guarding the sacredness of our dreams while they are still in formation. The principle of divine timing plays a crucial role in this process. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 declares, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Just as a farmer waits for the right season to sow and harvest, we too must wait for God's timing before we share the fruits of our labor. In the silence, we trust that everything is unfolding according to God's perfect plan. We wait for the right moment, knowing that He will bring our dreams to fruition when the time is right, not when we think it should be. Silence allows us to synchronize our will with God's timing, creating an environment where our dreams can blossom without rushing them into being. Silence also gives us the opportunity to build spiritual resilience. Just as a tree must endure storms and harsh weather before it can stand firm, we too must cultivate our inner strength in the quiet moments. Psalm 1 verse 3 describes the righteous person as being like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. This verse speaks to the power of patience and stillness. Just as the tree grows over time, so do we, when we remain firmly rooted in God's word and trust in his process. The quiet moments spent in prayer, reflection, and listening are the ones that strengthen us spiritually, preparing us for the challenges ahead. The process of keeping our dreams in silence also involves surrendering to God's plan. Isaiah 55 verse 8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." This passage encourages us to let go of the need to control every aspect of our journey and trust that God knows what is best for us. Silence gives us the space to surrender our desires to him, allowing him to shape our dreams in accordance with his divine wisdom. In doing so, we align ourselves more closely with his will and open ourselves to the blessings he has in store. As we navigate our spiritual journey, we must remember that silence is not a sign of weakness or fear, but rather a powerful act of faith. It is through silence that we learn to trust, to listen, and to wait patiently for God's perfect timing. Our dreams, when nurtured in the quiet, are given the space to grow strong, resilient, and aligned with God's divine purpose. When the time is right, they will be revealed to the world, standing firm and unshakable, like a tree that has weathered the storms and now stands tall, bearing fruit for all to see. In a world that often values noise and haste, let us find strength in the sacred silence, knowing that in God's perfect timing, all things will come together for our good and his glory. In today's fast-paced world, we are bombarded by constant noise and distractions. The demands of society, the endless opinions of others, and the pressure to seek external validation often pull us away from our true path. These forces can create confusion and uncertainty, leading us astray from the quiet wisdom that lies within. However, when we embrace silence, we create the necessary space to tune out the external world and reconnect with the deeper, more profound wisdom within ourselves. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." In stillness, not only do we find peace, but we also gain clarity and the strength to move forward. It is through this quietness that we cultivate our connection to our higher selves and to the divine purpose that is guiding us along our journey. Silence becomes the bridge that connects us to the divine wisdom always available to us, offering clarity and direction when we most need it. The process of spiritual ascension requires a discerning approach to when and how we share our journey with others. Silence, in the spiritual realm, is not merely the absence of words, but rather an active choice to protect and purify our energy. Proverbs 21 verse 23 advises us, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." This verse reminds us that true peace and strength are found not just in speaking less, but in choosing to speak at the right time. Silence is not a passive action, it's a powerful form of restraint. By refraining from sharing every detail of our journey, we protect ourselves from external influences that may distract us or hinder our progress. Just as a seed needs nurturing and protection before it can sprout, our dreams and intentions require the same care. Holding them quietly in our hearts, especially during their early stages, allows them to grow undisturbed, free from the scrutiny of the outside world. What can we learn from the story of Nehemiah in the Bible? Nehemiah had a sacred vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, a mission that was close to his heart. Yet before he revealed this vision to anyone, he prepared in silence, reflecting deeply and planning with great care. This act of quiet preparation gave Nehemiah the clarity he needed to move forward without being swayed by the doubts or opinions of others. His silence was not a sign of indecision, it was a deliberate choice to protect his purpose from external forces that could have derailed him. Nehemiah's journey teaches us that sometimes our most precious dreams must be kept in sacred silence until they are fully developed and ready to be shared. Silence is not just an absence of words, it is an act of safeguarding our vision and allowing it to grow and evolve without interference. When we are silent about our goals, we protect them, allowing them to blossom in their perfect timing. There is strength in waiting, strength in remaining silent until the right time arrives. This doesn't mean that we should isolate ourselves or avoid sharing our experiences when it is necessary. Rather, it's about recognizing when our goals are still fragile and need to be protected. Too often, we share our dreams too early, exposing them to external energies before they are ready to flourish. How many times have we prematurely revealed our plans only to face doubt, criticism, or skepticism from others? Could it be that some of our dreams have yet to come to fruition simply because they were not given the time and space they needed to grow? Silence provides the protective shield that allows our intentions to mature in the right environment. It helps us avoid the confusion and misalignment that can arise when we allow others to influence our journey before it is ready. Silence also offers the opportunity to deepen our relationship with the divine and with ourselves. The Bible speaks about guarding our hearts, reminding us in Proverbs 4 verse 23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." When we keep our intentions safe and private, we shield our hearts from negativity, criticism, and doubt. By not sharing every move we make, we maintain control over what energies influence our decisions. Imagine you are building a house on sacred ground. Each brick you lay represents a step toward fulfilling your purpose. If you allow others to enter the space too early and offer unsolicited advice, you risk compromising the integrity of your vision. Every opinion, no matter how well-intentioned, can distract you from your true path. Silence is a protective measure that ensures your vision remains intact, free from external forces that might cause confusion or disorientation. The more you share too soon, the more you invite potential distractions that could lead you off course. When we remain silent about our dreams, we create the space for them to be nurtured by the universe. In this quiet space, our intentions are allowed to grow and develop in ways that may not always be clear to us. Often, society teaches us that we must announce our success and shout our achievements from the rooftops. However, the spiritually aware understand that quiet action is often the most effective. As you reflect on your own journey, think about how much progress may have been hindered by unnecessary noise. How often have you shared your vision too early, only to encounter doubt or resistance? Could it be that some of your dreams have not yet materialized simply because they were exposed to external influences before they were ready to take form? There is immense strength in waiting for the right time to reveal your goals, in holding them close until they are strong enough to withstand any outside forces. Silence is not a passive state, it is a dynamic force that creates the necessary conditions for our visions to unfold in divine timing. It offers the space for clarity to emerge and for the wisdom of the universe to guide us. Through moments of quiet reflection, meditation, or even simple walks in nature, we can attune ourselves to this inner wisdom. It is in these still moments that we connect most deeply with our inner voice, the voice that aligns with the universe and directs us along our true path. One of the greatest challenges faced by those on a spiritual journey is the temptation to share their dreams and goals before they are fully realized. When a new vision is born or a goal is set, the excitement can be overwhelming, and it's easy to feel the urge to share it with the world. However, there is a sacred wisdom in keeping these plans close to your heart, especially in the early stages of manifestation. Just as a young seed needs nurturing and protection to grow into a strong, resilient tree, your dreams require the same care. The moment you share your intentions with others, you invite their energy into your plans. While others may offer well-meaning support, their doubts, judgments, and even envy can disrupt the purity of your vision. This isn't to say that sharing your journey is wrong, but it's important to be discerning about when and with whom you share. There are times when openness is beneficial, but there are also moments when silence acts as a protective shield. In the early stages of creation, the energies surrounding your goals can have an incredibly powerful influence on their outcome. Silence, therefore, is not just an absence of sound, but a profound space where your dreams can grow unencumbered by external noise or interference. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, it is silence that reminds you that you are never truly alone. It is during the quiet moments of life that you are most able to connect with your spiritual guides, your angels, and the ever-present universe. Silence provides you with the clarity needed to reconnect with your higher self and recognize that there is a divine plan at work. The challenges you face are not random or meaningless, but are preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. The journey of those who are chosen is not about rushing to the finish line, but about aligning with a path that is carefully orchestrated by the universe itself. The spiritual path is marked by purpose, transformation, and deep spiritual alignment. Yet, amidst the constant hustle and bustle of life, silence remains one of the most profound tools at your disposal. It is in silence that you give yourself permission to be still, to step away from the distractions of the world, and to reconnect with the divine rhythm that is unfolding for you. Silence gives you the space to let go of control and surrender to the wisdom of the universe. By embracing silence, you open yourself to divine timing, allowing things to unfold exactly when and how they should. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is a powerful state of being that connects you more deeply with your true purpose. In these quiet moments, you can strengthen your inner resolve and grow spiritually without the distractions that often accompany daily life. It is through silence that you can align yourself with the universe's flow and allow your true path to unfold without interference from external forces. By practicing silence, you learn to trust in the divine process, knowing that everything happens for a reason and at the right time. One of the greatest gifts that silence offers is the ability to trust in divine timing. The chosen ones understand that their journey is not about rushing toward an imagined endpoint, but about moving at a pace that aligns with the natural order of the universe. Every step, every delay, every challenge is a vital part of a divine plan that is unfolding precisely as it should. Silence allows you to step away from the pressures of time and instant results, giving you the space to trust that things will happen exactly when they are meant to. Silence, in this context, is not about being passive or waiting idly. Rather, it is an active form of trust, an act of surrender. By remaining silent, you demonstrate your faith in the universe's wisdom and timing. You acknowledge that the flow of life is far greater than your own limited perspective. This type of surrender requires deep faith, the kind that allows you to trust, even when the next step is unclear. It's the kind of faith that encourages you to sit with uncertainty and be at peace, knowing that the universe is guiding you toward your highest good. You consider the process of growth itself. When a plant is in its early stages, it needs time and space to grow. The harsh winds, the prying eyes, and the judgmental voices can stunt its development. Similarly, your spiritual path requires a safe, quiet space to grow, free from the interference of outside opinions and distractions. Silence provides this sacred space, allowing your intentions to take root and flourish. Just as a tree grows in the quiet of the forest, so too can your dreams grow and expand in the silence of your heart. The Bible offers a poignant reminder of the importance of guarding our hearts. Proverbs 4 verse 23 tells us, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Silence is a powerful act of guarding your heart, protecting your dreams from external forces that might derail their purity. It is an intentional act of honoring the divine timing of your journey, allowing your path to unfold naturally, without the pressure to conform to external expectations or the judgments of others. Silence, in this sense, becomes a form of spiritual protection. It is through silence that you can strengthen your connection with the divine and trust that everything is unfolding at the right time. In a world where instant gratification is often prioritized, embracing the patience that silence requires can be challenging. Yet, the chosen ones understand that true spiritual growth does not happen overnight. It requires patience, self-reflection, and a willingness to wait for the right timing. Silence is a tool that helps you practice this patience and deepen your faith in the process. This is where silence becomes a transformative force. It teaches you to trust and surrender, not just when things are going well, but especially during times of uncertainty. In these quiet moments, you are reminded that you are exactly where you need to be. You are being guided toward your highest good, even if the next step isn't immediately clear. Silence builds your inner strength, providing the courage to sit with uncertainty and trust that the universe is leading you in the right direction. Silence is not just a state of being, it is an invitation to connect with something greater than yourself. It is in these sacred, quiet moments that you are reminded of the divine presence in your life, guiding you through every challenge and every step of your journey. As you embrace the power of silence, you begin to understand that the universe is always speaking to you, always guiding you, and always ensuring that your path unfolds in the most beautiful and meaningful way possible. The journey of the chosen ones is not always easy. It is a path filled with trials, challenges, and moments of deep uncertainty. Yet it is precisely within these struggles that silence reveals its transformative power. Silence is not simply the absence of noise, it is a deliberate choice to hold space for your growth, reflection, and alignment with the divine. In a world constantly buzzing with external influences, opinions, fears, distractions, and societal pressures, it is easy to lose sight of who you truly are and the purpose you are here to fulfill. The chosen ones understand that silence is their refuge and their sanctuary. It is where the noise fades and the clarity of their path begins to shine. In choosing silence, you reclaim your power to discern between the truths that serve your higher self and the falsehoods that pull you off course. In the stillness, you can hear your intuition more clearly than ever before. It is through silence that you create the space to develop the clarity and wisdom needed to make decisions that align with your purpose and your higher self. Your intuition, the quiet and knowing voice of your soul, becomes more distinct in the moments of stillness. It does not shout or demand, instead, it whispers gently, guiding you toward your truth. This inner voice is your compass, a subtle yet powerful guide that leads you through life's complexities. By cultivating silence, you strengthen your connection to this divine guidance. The chosen ones know that trusting this voice is key to navigating life's challenges with grace and confidence. One of the most profound gifts of silence is its ability to align you with divine timing. In our fast-paced, modern world, there is an unspoken pressure to achieve everything quickly, as though time is always slipping through our fingers. It can feel as though every moment must be filled with action and noise. But the chosen ones understand the sacred nature of divine timing. Everything in life unfolds according to a plan that is greater than our human understanding. Each delay, each moment of stillness, is purposeful. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." In this stillness, we are reminded that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Silence allows us to trust this process, releasing the need for control and embracing the journey as it comes. When you surrender to divine timing, you experience a profound sense of peace, knowing that your path is divinely guided. While silence provides the space for growth and transformation, it is essential to remember that silence is not an excuse for inaction. It is not the end of the journey, but a preparation for what is to come. Silence prepares you, nurtures you, and grounds you, but it is through action that your dreams manifest into reality. The stillness you cultivate gives you the clarity, confidence, and strength to act when the time is right. When the moment comes for you to step forward, silence will have prepared you to take bold, inspired, and intentional action. As Jesus reminds us in Matthew 7 verse 16, "By their fruit you will recognize them." Your results, your fruit, are the ultimate evidence of your efforts. Words alone do not define success, but the tangible results of your inner work and alignment will speak louder than anything you could ever say. When you are quiet, you attune yourself to the divine rhythm that guides your life. In silence, you hear the subtle yet powerful messages of the universe, guiding you to your next steps. Divine wisdom flows freely when you make space for it, offering clarity in times of uncertainty and strength when the path ahead seems unclear. The chosen ones understand that silence is where transformation happens, where old doubts and fears are shed, and a new, more powerful version of yourself emerges. Silence creates room for evolution, for becoming the person you are meant to be. The practice of silence, then, is not passive. It is an active and sacred process of self-transformation, a tool for deep connection and empowerment. Through silence, you connect with your dreams and align yourself with your true purpose. Ask yourself, how can silence become a sacred ally on my path? How can I embrace stillness to empower myself and manifest my highest potential? The answers to these questions lie in the quiet moments, in the spaces where divine wisdom flows. Through silence, the chosen ones find the courage to continue, even when life presents its greatest challenges. It is a path of deep reflection and spiritual alignment. As you cultivate moments of stillness, you will notice the fruits of your labor beginning to blossom. You will begin to see the tangible results of your dedication and trust in the process. And when the time is right, when your dreams have matured, the world will bear witness to the beauty and power of your work. Your success will not be born of noise or haste, but out of a deep connection to your purpose and divine guidance. Remember, this silence is not a retreat from life, it is a return to your essence. It is where you find the strength, wisdom, and clarity to live fully and authentically. The chosen ones walk this path with courage and grace, knowing that silence is both their sanctuary and their source of transformation. In the stillness, you will find everything you need: wisdom, purpose, and the strength to continue. Trust in this sacred space, and allow silence to guide you toward the life you are meant to live. At the heart of silence is trust. Trust in the divine timing of your life, trust in the universe's guidance, and trust in your own inner wisdom. Silence is where this trust is nurtured, creating a sacred space for surrender. In silence, we let go of the need to control every outcome and release the impatience for immediate results. Instead, we allow the universe to unfold its higher plan. Trust in silence does not mean passivity, it means acknowledging that there is a wisdom greater than ourselves at work. By embracing this stillness, we open ourselves to faith, demonstrating that we are willing to wait and let life reveal its purpose in its own time. Silence, in this sense, becomes an act of deep courage, a space where trust blooms, guiding us closer to the path that was always meant for us. The power of silence lies in its ability to shield us from distractions and external influences, allowing us to remain focused and aligned with our higher purpose. In a world full of noise, opinions, judgments, and societal pressures, it is easy to lose sight of our true intentions. The chosen ones, those who are attuned to their sacred journey, understand the need to protect their vision. Silence becomes their fortress, shielding their dreams and purpose from the negative energies that can arise from others' doubts and criticisms. When we cultivate silence, we create a safe haven where our intentions can flourish without interference. It is in this quiet refuge that we gain clarity, refine our focus, and allow our vision to manifest with undisturbed energy. Proverbs 21 verse 23 reminds us, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." This ancient wisdom speaks to the power of restraint and the profound protection that silence offers. By choosing not to share every detail of our plans, we prevent the dilution of our energy and intentions. Too often, sharing prematurely exposes our dreams to the weight of skepticism and negativity. Silence preserves the purity of our purpose. It fortifies us against doubts and distractions while allowing the universe to work in our favor. In the stillness, unseen forces align circumstances, opening doors and paving the way for us to fulfill our purpose. Silence is not a void, it is a place of profound presence. It is also where spiritual strength is nurtured. Life is a constant motion of expectations, responsibilities, and external demands. Yet when we intentionally seek silence, we create a sacred pause to reconnect with ourselves, with the divine, and with our intuition. In the stillness, we begin to hear the whispers of our soul, the soft but undeniable voice of truth guiding us forward. This silence provides space for deep introspection, where we assess our spiritual growth, process our emotions, and clear away mental clutter. It is here that we can uncover the wisdom that resides within and align with the higher purpose unfolding in our lives. The quiet becomes a teacher, offering clarity, balance, and the courage to take our next steps. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still and know that I am God." In these words lies a profound truth. Stillness is the doorway to divine connection. Silence is not merely about resting the body, it is about quieting the mind and opening the heart to higher guidance. In this practice of stillness, we elevate our frequency, attuning ourselves to the messages and wisdom that flow from the universe. It is in this quiet communion that we begin to see life from a higher perspective. We are reminded of who we truly are and the purpose we have been chosen to fulfill. Silence becomes a sacred bridge between the human and the divine, a space where deep truths are revealed and spiritual alignment is restored. One of the most transformative gifts of silence is its ability to build resilience. Life is an unpredictable journey, filled with setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. But silence offers the chosen ones a sanctuary to retreat, gather strength, and rise above difficulties. When the external world grows chaotic, silence quiets the noise, allowing us to tune into the inner voice that speaks of faith, trust, and purpose. This voice becomes our anchor, a constant reminder of our strength and ability to endure. Resilience is not about avoiding adversity, but learning to move through it with grace and courage. In silence, we gain perspective, shift our mindset, and learn to see challenges as opportunities for growth and transformation. The chosen ones understand that resilience requires time, patience, and introspection. Silence gives us the emotional and mental space to process pain, adapt to change, and realign ourselves with hope and purpose. Through this stillness, we cultivate trust in the process, knowing that even in our most difficult moments, the universe is working behind the scenes to lead us to greater heights. Every challenge we face is not a punishment, but a lesson, a stepping stone toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more aligned with our purpose. Silence also nurtures patience, a quality often forgotten in today's fast-paced world. It teaches us to trust that everything is unfolding in divine timing. When we allow silence to guide us, we surrender the need for immediate results and embrace the journey as it comes. The path may not always be linear, and the answers may not always be clear, but silence helps reveal the meaning behind each twist and turn. In this quiet space, we learn to wait with faith, knowing that the right opportunities, lessons, and blessings will arrive exactly when we are ready to receive them. The chosen ones know that silence is not stagnation, it is preparation. It is in the stillness that we prepare for the next phase of our journey. We allow space for the universe to work its miracles, for divine wisdom to guide us, and for our intentions to align with a greater plan. Silence is where trust deepens, resilience strengthens, and clarity unfolds. As we embrace this sacred practice, we are reminded that we are never alone. The divine is always present, guiding and supporting us toward our greatest potential. In a world overflowing with constant noise, both external and internal, there is a profound truth that the chosen ones understand: silence is sacred. It is in the stillness that we discover clarity, peace, and the voice of God calling us to His purpose. The chaos of life, with its unending distractions and clamor, can easily drown out what is most important. Yet, when we step into silence, we enter a space where divine wisdom is revealed, and our hearts are strengthened with faith. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still, and know that I am God." This simple yet powerful verse invites us to surrender to the quiet and trust that God is present. In the stillness we hear His voice more clearly. The distractions of the world fade, and our souls are left open to receive His guidance. When we embrace silence, we are not running from reality, but leaning into the divine reality, one where God's plan unfolds perfectly, even when we cannot yet see it. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it is the presence of intention and faith. It allows us to sift through the burdens of life and uncover what truly matters: our purpose, our connection to God, and the assurance that we are walking the path He has prepared for us. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14 verse 14. In moments of uncertainty and struggle, silence becomes an act of faith. We trust that God is working, even when we cannot perceive His hand at work. Like the Israelites standing before the Red Sea, we learn that in stillness miracles can unfold. For the chosen ones, those who seek to align their lives with God's will, silence becomes a sacred refuge, a place to nurture their dreams and protect their vision. Just as a seed is planted in the dark, fertile soil, our dreams grow in the quiet spaces of our hearts. They must be protected from the harsh winds of doubt, criticism, and external noise. Jesus himself modeled this practice. Throughout his ministry, he withdrew to lonely places to pray and seek the Father's guidance. But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Luke 5 verse 16. If the Son of God sought silence to align with his purpose, how much more must we do the same? The power of silence lies in its ability to cultivate resilience and trust. It is in the quiet that we learn to release control and surrender to God's timing. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 tells us, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Silence teaches us patience, the art of waiting with expectation, knowing that God's timing is perfect. In a world that glorifies immediate results and constant action, the chosen ones understand that spiritual growth requires stillness. It is through this quiet waiting that God shapes our hearts, strengthens our faith, and prepares us for the fulfillment of his promises. Silence also creates space for the voice of the Holy Spirit to speak within us. Amid the noise of life, it is easy to miss his whispers of encouragement, conviction, and direction. Elijah's encounter with God on Mount Horeb is a profound example of this truth. God was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper that followed 1 Kings 19 verse 11 to 12. It is in the still, small voice that we experience God's nearness and guidance. When we quiet our hearts, we create the opportunity to hear his whisper and receive the clarity we seek. Furthermore, silence protects our spiritual energy. The chosen ones know that their journey is sacred, and they cannot afford to be drained by external distractions or the opinions of others. Jesus taught us to guard our intentions and dreams with wisdom. In Matthew 7 verse 6 he says, "Do not give dogs what is sacred, do not throw your pearls to pigs." Silence serves as a shield, safeguarding our visions as they mature in God's perfect timing. There is a holiness in keeping our plans between ourselves and the Lord until they are ready to bear fruit. This practice of silence is not about hiding from the world, it is about honoring the sanctity of our God-given purpose. It is a space where our faith deepens, our dreams take root, and our confidence in God's plan grows stronger. Jesus assures us in John 15 verse 5, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." In the silence, we remain connected to the source of all strength and wisdom. We are reminded that true success does not come from the world's applause, but from living in alignment with God's will. At the core of the chosen one's journey is unwavering faith that sustains us through seasons of doubt, hardship, and waiting. Hebrews 11 verse 1 defines faith as the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Silence and faith are intertwined, each nurturing the other. When we embrace silence, we strengthen our ability to trust God's unseen work. When we hold on to faith, we find the courage to remain still, even when the world urges us to act in haste. The journey of the chosen ones is not without challenges. There will be moments of struggle, loss, and confusion. Yet, in these moments, silence becomes a lifeline. It is through the quiet that we find the strength to persevere, the clarity to discern our next step, and the peace to trust that God is in control. Isaiah 30 verse 15 declares, "In quietness and trust is your strength." This quiet strength is the mark of those who walk closely with God. It is not a weakness but a sign of deep spiritual maturity and confidence in the Lord's sovereignty. In a world that often mistakes noise for progress, the chosen ones move differently. Their confidence is not loud or boastful, but rooted in an unshakable trust in God's plan. They do not need to announce their every step or seek validation from others. Instead, they allow their actions and the fruits of their labor to speak for themselves. As Jesus said in Matthew 7 verse 20, "By their fruit you will recognize them." The chosen ones know that their quiet obedience and dedication to God's purpose will ultimately shine brightly, glorifying Him in the process. Embracing silence is an act of surrender. It is a declaration of trust in God's divine plan and a commitment to walking in His ways. In the quiet we find clarity, strength, and peace. We are reminded that every step of our journey has meaning, and that even the seasons of waiting are purposeful. The chosen ones understand that silence is not emptiness, but a sacred space where God's presence dwells. As you navigate life's challenges and pursue your God-given dreams, let silence be your sanctuary. Use it to align your heart with His will, to nurture your faith, and to listen to the voice of your soul, a voice that echoes the divine guidance of your Creator. Remember that in the quiet God is working. In the silence He is strengthening you. And in the stillness His plan for your life is unfolding perfectly, according to His timing. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23 verse 1. With this assurance you can embrace silence as the chosen one's greatest gift, a gift that leads you closer to your purpose, your Creator, and the fulfillment of your divine calling. Silence serves as a sacred beacon, a guiding light when the path ahead feels shrouded in uncertainty. It is within this stillness that the noise of the world fades, creating space for the whispers of God to reach our hearts. Silence is not an empty void, it is fertile ground where faith is nourished, where trust in God's divine plan is affirmed, and where clarity emerges like dawn breaking after the darkest night. Psalm 46 verse 10 reminds us of this truth: "Be still, and know that I am God." To be still is to surrender our striving, our fears, and our doubts, trusting that God's purpose will be revealed in His perfect timing. This act of stillness becomes a profound declaration of faith, a willingness to wait on the Lord with patience and humility. Trusting in divine timing is one of the greatest lessons for those walking the path of faith. In a world that demands immediacy, it can be tempting to force outcomes or control every detail of our lives. Yet as believers we are called to a higher understanding. God's ways are not our ways, and His timing is always perfect. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 assures us, He has made everything beautiful in its time. When we resist the urge to rush and instead yield to divine timing, we align ourselves with God's will and open the door for blessings far greater than anything we could orchestrate on our own. Silence becomes the vessel of this trust, a space where we lay down our need for control and allow God to take the lead. In this quiet surrender, we come to see that His delays are not denials, they are preparations for something far greater. Silence also fosters personal transformation, which lies at the heart of the Christian journey. As believers, we are called to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, Romans 12 verse 2, and this renewal often begins in moments of stillness. In the quiet, we are invited to reflect, to search our hearts, and to discern the areas of our lives where God is calling us to grow. Just as a seed grows in the darkness of the soil before it breaks through the surface, so too does our spiritual growth often occur in unseen, quiet places. It is in these moments that God shapes us, prunes away what does not serve His purpose, and strengthens us for the challenges ahead. Isaiah 64 verse 8 beautifully illustrates this. Yet you, Lord, are our Father. We are the clay, you are the potter, we are all the work of your hand. In silence, we become moldable, allowing God to shape us into the people He has called us to be. The discipline of silence also teaches us the importance of protecting our dreams and plans. In a world eager to judge and critique, there is wisdom in keeping certain matters between ourselves and God until the appointed time. This is echoed in Proverbs 21 verse 23, "Whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles like a tender seedling that must be protected from harsh winds and storms." Our goals require nurturing and safeguarding until they are strong enough to face the world. Sharing prematurely can expose our visions to doubt, criticism, or discouragement, forces that may stifle their growth. Jesus Himself demonstrated this wisdom throughout His ministry, often withdrawing to solitary places to pray, Luke 5 verse 16. In these quiet moments He found strength, clarity, and communion with the Father, modeling for us the power of silence as a means of protection and preparation. Furthermore, silence brings peace not as the world defines it, but as a divine gift that transcends all understanding. Philippians 4 verse 6-7 speaks to this peace. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Silence is the doorway to this peace, for it is in the stillness that we quiet our anxieties and allow God's presence to envelop us. This peace does not mean the absence of challenges, but rather the assurance that God walks with us through every trial. In the quiet, we are reminded that we are not alone, that our struggles, no matter how daunting, are held in the hands of a loving and sovereign God. In embracing silence, we also become attuned to the voice of God. The Lord does not always speak in thunderous proclamations. More often, he speaks in the gentle whispers of our hearts. This truth is illustrated in 1 Kings 19 verse 11-12, when Elijah encounters God not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in a gentle whisper. When we make space for silence, we create room to hear this whisper, a voice that guides, comforts, and reveals the next steps on our journey. To listen is to demonstrate faith. It is an act of trust that God will provide the answers we seek in His perfect timing. The journey of faith is not about rushing to a destination, but about walking in alignment with God's will. Each step taken in silence is a step of obedience, trust, and humility. It is an acknowledgement that our lives are not our own, but that we are vessels of God's love and purpose. As believers, we are called to be still, to listen, and to trust that the one who created us has already prepared the way ahead. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 affirms this promise, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Even when the road feels uncertain, silence reminds us to trust in this promise, to believe that God's plan is unfolding, even when we cannot yet see the full picture. In conclusion, silence is far more than the absence of noise. It is a sacred space where faith is strengthened, growth is fostered, and peace is found. It is the soil in which dreams take root, the refuge where plans are protected, and the sanctuary where God's voice is heard. For those walking the path of faith, silence is both a discipline and a gift, a way to draw closer to the heart of God and align with His divine will. As you embrace silence, may you find the strength to trust, the patience to wait, and the wisdom to recognize God's hand in every moment. Remember the words of Isaiah 30 verse 15, "In quietness and trust is your strength. Let silence be your ally, your teacher, and your guide, for it is in the stillness that the greatest transformations occur and the most profound truths are revealed."